pages, a lot of Yahoo groups. There was Nigeria Village Square, there was the Lendo Reports, and eventually Sahara Reporters. So we had a lot going on in those days. I remember you.
I think before I subject you to what one should usually do in an environment like this, ask you the tough questions, I think I owe a duty to congratulate you for the value innovation of Sahara Reporters.
Thank you.
It was a form of journalistic value innovation that redefined and democratized the media, apart from what the social media platforms brought into citizen journalism, across the world. You really took what the French call surveillance from the grassroots up, redefined journalism. Fantastic. But some believe that you seem to be abusing the powers of that platform. They believe that you sometimes use it to just hound people emotionally, especially some in government. Some believe that you use it to shake people down, some that are not in your good books. And in fact, some have gone as far to the extent of saying, Sowore will put you under that pressure, and once the price is right, it could settle for anything. How would you want to respond to that?
No, it's not going to respond to that. I started Sahara Reporters in 2006, and you're aware of that. And sorry, it's more than 16 years ago, and it's been subjected to all kinds of tests, including having been sued in the U.S. 5 times. I said sued in the U.S. for libel because you can't bribe judges in the U.S., and I won all those cases. I have a lot of lawsuits thrown at me in Nigeria. I've been arrested as recently as a month ago by a multi-billionaire, or billionaire as they call them in Nigeria, for cyber stalking. And in all these cases, I keep asking them, submit your evidence if I broke the rules. No one of them succeeded. You see, when you do what we call adversarial journalism, people will say all kinds of things about you, they will lie about you, but I knew what I was doing from day one. I wanted a journalism that could save lives. I wanted a journalism that could make public officials accountable to the people. And I wanted a journalism in which people see themselves not just as victims, but have the empowerment to fight back using a peaceful, very well-tested process of fighting back. That's why in journalism, I think it's said that pen is mightier than sword. So those who have been wielding the sword over these years, over the sword of Damocles over Nigerians, suddenly found themselves helpless in front of a website. And I think I understood the moral power of that website when some of them will call me and say, look, Sowore, it is not, I don't care about what you wrote, but my daughter just called me crying from England and they said her father is a thief. That's the only reason why I'm worried. And I'll say to them,
at this juncture, Sowore, is there any prima facie conviction by a court of competent jurisdiction, either in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, against Sahara Reporters or yourself?
No.
That you know of?
That I know of. It's possible that they might go to a court somewhere in the corner of the world where I'm not represented. They avoid serving me lawsuit processes so that I cannot defend myself in some cases, because they know if I find out, I will defend, or the platform will defend itself, as a justification for truth, and they don't like that. Each time I'm served, or the platform is served, I show up. I send a lawyer now if you say I lost it. The US cases are very interesting because it affected a range of powerful officials who thought that they could use the US to harass Sahara reporters and bankrupted. One of the persons that was first used in a lawsuit against Sahara reporters was a guy, Paul Ori, is his name, I remember. The Yar'Adua regime we had been at loggerheads with Yar'Adua over his health. And he came to them and promised that he can take down Sahara reporters legally. So he went and sued me in Texas. Texas had a little bit of interesting legal procedures regarding libel. You cannot claim in parts of Texas that you want to hide your sources. You have to reveal them. So he sued me, and they promised him a job as the Director General of NAFDAC. He got the job. We went to court. We were able to prove that they have no jurisdiction. He never even appealed against it.
Okay.
So there have been several of those kind of cases. Also in Nigeria. What the point I'm making, which is the question that you're asking, I said, not because
we don't have much
evidence.
We don't have much of time, and I know the listeners too would want to engage you.
Yes.
Like I said, the number to call if you want to call in and ask questions or give opinions or just about anything. But like I said earlier on, your involvement in the show is actually the icing on the cake. 070-322-77338 070-322-77338 or 090-9555-1039 090-9555-1039. What instructed your decision to move from activism to the partisan end of public life?
So activism didn't go directly to partisan politics. I actually moved first from I was an activist, as a student activist. And then I went to media activism, which is Sahara reporters, in my view. That's how I did. And then I realized there was a point of epiphany for me that writing reports about corrupt politicians alone won't solve Nigeria's problem. It can't solve even global corruption problems, except good people come into office and change the way business is conducted in government. Because I'd written at that point 5,000 or more reports on corruption in Nigeria, and I discovered that the Nigerian political elite just became, immune. They started developing immunity. They became impervious to. So
thick skin to.
Some of them will, say to you even publicly, let them write another one, because there were no consequences on the ground. So started thinking about what about the system in which I'm involved directly.
That instructed your direct involvement.
So I started thinking about transitioning after the 2015 election, and I came around. I covered the election and reported the results of the election before INEC could even complete it. We had access to raw information.
Okay, we're going to call her for caller. Good evening. Okay, it broke. Yes. Now we have a WhatsApp message here. You want to take your time to? Okay.
Take your time. Have a little cold.
Because I noticed you.
Yeah, some coffee.
Aye Mafuge wrote, I remember vividly when Omoyele Sowore said he's going to revolutionize Nigeria. The whole country went wild. Government propagandists, radio analysts misled the listeners and gave a wrong definition of what Sowore meant, leading to his detention. Today I stand to be corrected that the only candidate that is overqualified to be Nigeria president is my brother Omoyele Sowore in all ramifications. Adeboyega Adedeji. I want to believe you sure have some friends on digitalia sending messages.
Well, probably not. I think Nigerians are discerning enough to be able to tell also the truth about the character of all the candidates in this election cycle.
Sowore, you contested in 2019.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, apart from the fact that you went around the world, took monies from Nigerians in the diaspora who perhaps were hoping against hope, and I'm choosing my phrases carefully, who perhaps hoping against hope, felt your involvement could amount to something, it came to naught. Before you answer that, let's take the caller. Caller, good evening. Your name, please, and where you are calling from. Good evening.
Good evening, Sowore.
Good evening.
My name is Chief Ikechukwu.
Good evening.
Sowore, I'm very grateful to you for your work.
Where are you calling from, Chief?
I'm calling from
Ikorodu City, fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, Sowore is all yours.
I love activism more than any other thing. Because there are people who don't change their balance to the government. And that is you're going to do this, going is not good. But what I want you to do, even if you are going as a president, you are a candidate of the party. Can we still go to the Minister of Oil? I can't believe he finishes his term then as a president because the oil sector caused a lot of havoc in Nigeria. They will want them not. And we're looking down on it. As if something happened there, that's where all the problems started.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very
I don't know about activism can be responsible now or after he came down.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Let's let Sowore answer the two questions pending for him now.
Oh my brother, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. You can definitely hold the oil minister to account.
Substantive Minister of Petroleum being
Yes,
the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes. The Constitution guarantees him immunity for things they would have done in office.
We have a call for you from
But
America.
he can be held accountable.
Sorry, please. You may have to take note. We have a call from. Hello, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Chidi. I'm calling from Canada.
You are calling from Toronto, Canada. Dr. Chidi, Sowore is all yours.
Of course, Mr. President is my candidate, is my man. But I want to ask him publicly, because maybe this has been construed or misrepresented. He is trying to be the president of Nigeria. But Mr. President, I just saw you today, you were posting, you had a post on your page campaigning for the government to release a lady that was wearing a Biafran outfit.
Yes.
So one begins to wonder, interested
Thank you.
in Biafran struggle.
Thank you very much.
We also saw you, sorry, let me just complete quickly. And we also saw you fight for followers of Igboho when they were abducted and taken to Abuja. And we've seen you, fighting for respect as many other people. So can you put this in perspective? Why you're supposed to be running for president and campaigning, but we see you also busy fighting for all these other people? Why is this?
The seeming inconsistency and
There's no inconsistency. The people who I've been fighting for, I've been fighting for them my entire life. People have seen me behind Abiola before and asked, what were you doing with Abiola? Because we didn't even support Abiola for the election in 1993. The National Association of Nigerian Students took a position to oppose Abiola. But when he was cheated, we came out and supported him. All these citizens that are being persecuted, being harassed, being tortured, they are our citizens. They have fundamental rights. I have a default position in me that anybody that is cheated, regardless of where they come from, even when I have political disagreements, I will defend them to make sure that they get justice. So the young lady, Idara Gold, who's been detained for 10 months, was detained because she wore a Biafran-themed clothes for her 20th birthday. She was arrested by the DSS. She's been languishing in detention for 10 months now. There's no basis for anybody to be arrested for wearing an attire. even for those who are asking for Biafra, it is their right to agitate for self-determination. If you don't want people to agitate for Biafra to leave the country, give them justice, give them a sense of belonging.
Let me
create an inclusive, conducive, and just and fair country so that people will stay in the country. You can't force people to be part of any union or a bad marriage.
Let me quickly chip this in. Many people may not know that every January 1st, the state of California, United States of America, and the state of Texas would give a letter.
Yes, that they want to leave the U.S.
Would give a letter to the White. Would send a letter to the White House saying they want to leave the U.S.
Yes.
Nobody gets killed for it.
No, when Obama won the election, a group of armed men in Idaho said they are not going to be living. They don't want to be in the U.S. because the black man won the election. Nobody went after them. They were armed.
And in the backdrop of that, because these questions are coming, the calls are coming in think and fast, and we need to be a bit, a bit more. You also, before Nnamdi Kanu was, you also held a meeting with him
in New York City. Yes,
with the seeming obvious agitation of Nnamdi Kanu that bordered then on treason of a sort.
Yes.
Were you not, just like in the backdrop of the logical question that gentleman asked, were you not also somewhat discomfitured ideologically that you were playing the two sides?
No.
The two sides of a game.
Anybody who is ideologically sound will understand that somebody asking for a nation state because they fear that they are not included, they are marginalized, has not committed a crime, like you mentioned in the US. And I went to him to understand it. Any activist, ideologically sound activist, must first and foremost understand social movements as part of your own internal, understanding of how people think and how they want to fight and where they want to be. So I went to ask him, what do you want? He said justice. And I did ask him, and I've said this everywhere, that instead of breaking up Nigeria, why don't we do a revolution together?
In the backdrop of that, you veered in the direction of your hashtag revolution now.
Yes.
Which seemed...
And he also started using the hashtag.
Which seemed then seemingly opportunistic and exhibitionistic.
No.
You knew you were going nowhere fast with it.
No.
You indeed ended up nowhere fast with
That's
it.
not true, because revolutions don't happen overnight, right? The French Revolution took 10 years before it came to pass. And after 100 years, there was an attempt to reverse the revolution. There was another mini revolution. That's one thing you should understand. Revolution now, as a protest movement or a battle call, likely led to EndSARS.
You're talking like a very rich Nigerian, typical Nigerian. I want it to be, I've got calls coming.
I'm not rich.
Also, but my brother, move it.
Take a call.
Okay. Caller, sorry about that. Sowore is now a big man. He's now picking his words. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Okay, this is Comrade Galadima from Oshodi.
Sowore is all yours. Your question, please, or your remark.
I really want to appreciate him for what he's doing, and I want to thank him that he's not relent in making sure this country is real. And also, I want to explain more his ideology. Because since yesterday we have been following his interview, and people are already keen into that ideology. Let's talk more about that ideology, and it will become distraction from people that will be asking him if he got somebody 2015 or he got somebody 2019. That's not what he discuss now. Let's discuss what we really need in 2023.
Okay then. We have WhatsApp messages here. Hello sir, my name is Oluwatosin. Kindly ask Sowore if he truly collected about $1.9 billion plus from APC to discredit Jonathan back then. Another one here. You want to be taking these questions because, come to think of it, one is getting a bit inundated. I listened to Sowore yesterday on Wazobia FM, sir. Everything about me changed. I want to apologize to all I have said against you. From now, I will never be obedient to failure of old politicians recycling themselves. From now, you are my president, whether you win the next year election or not. Love you, sir. AGK from Okoko. You have another message here. It says, good afternoon, my president. My name is Okay from Obalende. I want to tell you, sir, myself, my wife, my mother-in-law, and my family owe you 1 vote each. We believe in you only. I am from Anambra, and as a medical worker, I left my job from Anambra State because Peter Obi refused to pay our salary. He is a serial liar. I love you, sir, most especially since yesterday. Sowore?
Yes.
Is there a bit of bad belly because Peter Obi seems to be leveraging the momentum that you may have suffered for over the years, and now it does seem that you have lost the right to image, you know?
No, it's, I don't want to spend much time talking about speculations. I have been around for 3 decades, verifiable, life lived in the public domain, and I've always done what is right by my conscience and by my country. So there's no political season in Nigeria that there is no euphoria, and I love it that people get euphoric about democracy, because I was one of the people who fought for democracy. I'm happy that something I fought for is starting to take shape, consolidation, and generate interest and hope. Nothing like that. You see, in 1997, 5 million youths converged in Abuja. Do you remember? Youth earnestly asked for a
I was not in Nigeria then,
but you knew about
I watched it on CNN.
So it was contrived.
The guy seems to have disappeared into total oblivion at this juncture.
Yes, they seized the country and told everybody, was made to believe inside and outside Nigeria that Abacha was the most popular politician. They wanted him to transmute from a military general to a civilian general. We went to Yaba with a few people and organized our own 5 million man march. The 5 million man march of a few people was what liberated Nigeria, not the 5 million man march in which there were musicians. So they say sometimes when history repeats itself, it's tragic. There were musicians that were hired, including our friend Shino Peters, who never recovered from it.
Yeah, Shino Peters was actually coaxed into it.
Yes, whatever it was.
Very balanced.
Yes,
it was strict and coaxed into it by Ogundokun, Chief Ogundokun.
Yes. Influencers, broadcasters. I remember Christine Esiene-Gbokwe, who was most popular female vocalist at that time. All of them were there. But the people that delivered democracy to Nigeria were not at that event. We were at Yaba. Bakoba was attacked. His eye was bloodshot. Ayobe was there. We were beaten black and blue because we could have been paid. We could have been part of that Abuja charade. But we opted to go for what is right.
Let's take another.
And that is how Nigeria became what it is today. So don't get carried away by
what is the central ideological disposition of your presidency if one were to manifest miraculously. From where I'm sitting now as a political analyst, it would be a miracle, an electoral miracle, if you were to emerge the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, elected President of the Federal Republic this election cycle. Now, what will be the central ideological disposition of your presidency? But before we do that, let's take another call. Caller, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Good evening. My name is George. I'm calling from here.
Okay. What's your question for Sowore?
Commentation, comments, and questions at the same time. My organ, I greet you in a good way.
Well done,
sir.
Thank you.
I really want to commend what you've been doing Abuja. You were the ones really, if you remember the June 12th, when it came to, I think people from the southwest, some from just pro-democracy activists that came to Abuja then. They almost formed our quarter then in Abuja Zone 6. But it's not too far from the High Court.
Yes.
Now, I love your struggle. I love everything about you. But the thing here is that when you want to fight a bigger evil, people with white spirit need to join forces together. I am talking, I want to be specific. By profession, I'm a political scientist. I want to be specific now. Don't you think you and Peter will be joining forces will really bring the other evils down? That's my number one question.
You have to be fast about it. So some other calls are, they are queuing.
Okay, let me just end it here.
Okay, how would you want to respond to that?
No, I want to be very clear that collaboration has to have a framework, and that is that for you to collaborate with anybody, you must have identical, similar. You must be similar. I was telling you about 1993. I didn't see Peter Obi, but we fought for democracy. He was in his 30s in those days. Even when we were fighting third term against Obasanjo, we didn't see them. But I'm not saying that everybody must be an activist on the street. What I'm saying is that if you have been part of the old system that put us in the condition that we are in, we cannot have a collaboration. To break it down and be specific too, I cannot collaborate with somebody who is supported by Babangida. I cannot collaborate with somebody who is supported by Obasanjo.
Okay.
Or any of these leaders that ruined Nigeria. The people I call the Nigeria Ruiners FC Football Club.
The clock is ticking.
Yes.
We've got some questions for you here. Question to Sowore. Anti-supporters of Sowore have been saying he took a grant belonging to one of his supporters, Tosin. Please, Mr. Sowore, what happened? You want to respond to that? Then there's another question here on WhatsApp that says, please help us ask Mr. Sowore. He was trending on Twitter this morning. Can you please tell us why? And you've got a caller. I know you want to tune down the volume of your radio set automatically when we pick your call. Please, your name, where you are calling from.
I'm calling from Lagos.
Thank you very much. Sowore is all yours.
Well, I want to greet you.
I greet you too. Thank you.
And I think that you have addressed all of these questions very diligently. Because if you want to collaborate with someone to bring down an evil Christian,
I think we lost our person.
and I want to commend you again for your effort.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, Sowore, you want to speak to Tosin's issue that one of your supporters, Tosin, you seemingly took his grant.
No, that's not correct. It's Tosin was a kid that helped me very much when I was in detention. She brought food every day to me. I can't say anything negative about her. There were probably misconception on her own part about what grants are and how they're given. There was nothing like that, and she knows that, and she's resolved that in her own.
In the backdrop of that question,
Yes.
It does seem that you have perfected the art of leveraging the grant industry across the world, because even Sahara Reporters does not function as a conventional media platform. You don't take advertorials, you don't take advertisements, and you get grants from some foundations. The grant industry seems, when you're looking at it from the forex side of it, to be a multi-billion naira industry, isn't it?
No, the important thing about SAR reporters and grant making is, when I set it up, I didn't have any grant. I used my own money. I set up with a laptop. You know about this yourself. And when it became big, and the issue was for it to keep holding government to account, we have to take the decision not to advertise with government, so that in the independence and purity of his work is preserved. Grant making or request is something that is acceptable all over the world. Our universities live off of grants. In fact, you will be surprised that the radio that you are on today, somebody invented it with a grant. Yes, the radio frequency that you are enjoying today. So when people don't have resources to support very powerful, innovative ideas, they go to this transparent foundation, transparent processes, get applied, and your grant, and they put it out there. That's how you know that SAR Reporters has grant, because it is not only that it grants you money, they will put it in the annual report, they put it on the
transparency
internet.
About
yes, so
it.
they are transparent, and then you have to explain to them how you spent their grant at the end of the year. But I haven't done SAR Reporters since 2018 now.
Listeners, I need to say at this juncture that the management has extended the time with about 15 minutes, so I think the program will be ending at about 15 minutes after 6 or 20 minutes after 6. It's quite unprecedented. I started the show, but I guess because of the deluge, of course. Caller, your name, please, and where you're calling from.
All right, good evening. My name is Yusuf Ali, and I'm calling you from Jigawa State,
Dusi. You listening to us? You listen to us online?
Yes, I am listening to you online.
Fantastic. Sowore is all yours.
Thank you very much. My president, good evening, sir.
Good evening. And how's it over there in Dusha tonight? This evening.
We thank God, we're good.
All right, thank you.
Well done, sir. I just want to use this platform to say, God bless you, and God will continue to strengthen you.
Thank you.
My one and only advice to you is, if 2023 doesn't work out, please don't give up.
Yeah.
Please try and make sure you rally around the country. Let it not be during election period alone. This is an ideology.
Yes.
You are a man of ideology. I've seen your heart. It's a heart of gold. I didn't support you in 2019. Not that I didn't have any time in 2015. I was in Buhari, but I regret it large. But I just want you to know that we are with you now forever, because we have seen that you are that man for the country. God will bless you. We, on our own, we continue to rally around and tell our friends and families that you are the man who can bring the change. Stand up against tyrants.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yele.
I'm scared when I hear people who are more passionate than me. It shows that the country is ripe for the kind. And because we're talking about miracles, we don't need to go religious about it. We've done enough of that. There's no need for any miracle to happen. The Nigerian people just need to stand up on election day and say they reject more of the same, the past of misery, of hunger, starvation, corruption, incompetence, and they want to go in a different direction with us.
There's an SMS message. This is SMS, is it? There's an SMS message that says, don't you think you will do well as a legislator? Look at Julius Malema. Look at Julius Malema of the EFF in South Africa, I guess. Doing well in South Africa. George, it was saying, would you not think, Sowore, that you could start from, say, Ondo State? The gubernatorial platform of Ondo State will soon be vacant. And you know what? You could, at least that could be as a platform for you to at least demonstrate some of the values that you've spoken so vociferously about.
Let me just say to you, right? When I was 22 years old, sir. When I was 22 years old, right? And my life was at risk. it was risky to fight the military. I did not reduce my energy, my courage to fighting for those things. I fought for the country.
I know when I was introducing it, I said it's going to be intellectually robust. So, and I could see. So I know you've got calls from as far as the US now or North America. Caller, your name, please, and where you're calling from. Your number indicates North America. Oh, have we lost him? Okay. Where in the US are you calling from? That's the subcontinent you're calling from. Where exactly in the US are you calling from? South Carolina. Be careful and watch your back. Okay, so where is all yours?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's killing small businesses and big businesses, and power is so important.
How would you generate power?
What?
Specifically now. No,
specifically.
No dribbling.
Yes.
No euphemisms and
no. So
over-additioning.
No.
I want the specifics now.
Specifically, is to first and foremost delineate. to state how long you want to generate how many megawatts of electricity. My goal is to generate another 24,000 megawatts of electricity within the next 4 years after taken. First is to ensure that gas, hydro, for instance, the hydro in Niger State has only one turbine working. It should have 3. We bring in 2 more. Gas needs to go to about 6 power stations in the country. That then coupled with the ability to transmit, because right now we are able to transmit, even if we generate 7,000 megawatts, which is the highest they've ever generated, we're only able to transmit 4,000, which is barely able to power one of the London Underground tubes, you understand? And that's what they have.
I guess it's just about what Heathrow Airport
uses,
generates.
You understand?
To run itself on a daily basis.
So we build a mix of energy. So we are going for gas, we are going for solar, you understand, and we are going for more hydro and also biogas. Yeah, we are going for all of this. Let
me interrupt you. Let me. I'm not.
If you interrupt me,
let me interrupt you because I need to really put pin on your skin.
Okay, go ahead.
You know why?
Go ahead.
Yele, I run 2 training institutes that I founded.
Yes.
I'm a visionary and founder of one. I co-own one. And I know that fundamentally in Nigeria, the problem we have is about skills. And when I hear people say, we build Ile Gogoro, 7-story building just came down, literally like a pack of cards.
Okay.
Here in Lekki. You know why? And I'm not surprised. It will be happening more in Nigeria because the level of skills out there is so low. And you are telling me you will deploy 24 megawatts of power in 4 calendar years?
Yes. Because the skill set we need is international in nature. And we'll bring that skill set, but that skill set must also lead to transfer of skills to the local power, labor force. Just calm down.
Let me quickly put this there.
I have an example from Egypt, we have Morocco, we have Tunisia, where they went to Germany, brought in Siemens. But when we went to Germany to bring in Siemens, we were more interested in hiding the money that was meant to be paid to start the power project. That is why we are stuck. Egypt, in 4 years, under Sisi, another general, not his big fan because of his violation of human rights, was able to generate 24,000 megawatts of electricity with less than $16 billion. Our friends in PDP generated darkness with 16 billion.
You know what?
So the skill set for generating electricity doesn't have to be local.
Take this in.
And let me finish. Because I don't want you to get away with interruption. I'm the one who's your guest here.
Take this in.
And the public want to have hear from me, not to hear from you.
You know what?
Yes.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
You have to listen too.
Yes.
Because I'm talking from a position of knowledge. I'm practical. You are an activist.
Yes.
I am an empiricist. I run schools. Look, let me give you a typical example. Let me give you a typical example. Let me give you a typical challenge that you are not factoring in.
Okay, go ahead.
In places like Egypt,
yes,
and other places that you're talking about, yes, Nigeria has a peculiar challenge. Yes. You know the challenge that Nigeria has? At the very zenith of professionalism, up until before the pandemic, my building and construction training school has an outlet in Dubai where we expose our youngsters, yes, to high-end construction skills. Now, Nigeria go all over the world. The airport that people land in Dubai, one of the senior engineers that built it and maintained it for 6 years, Nigerian. Yes. So at the high end of professionalism, yes, we have people. But when it comes to the supervisory level, the level of implementation, we are short of hands, because when you were growing up and when I was growing up, Elijah wanted me to go to university, your own parents too wanted you to go to university, yeah, you did geography, and you would agree with me that as important as geography is not what you are living with now. Or living by.
That's not the reason why I'm not living with.
No, and I'm basically telling you,
I'll probably be making more money.
I'm basically telling you,
I'm
basically telling you that in the schematics of your plan,
yes,
you must plan for the empowerment of the artisanal skills that will translate those drawings.
But that's what I told you.
But they are not there now. And I'm saying that in 4 years, it may be a bit delusional.
No, it's not delusional. You understand? You see, you said something like you are a visionary. I'm not only a visionary, I'm also a missionary. When I say I want to do something, I will do it. When I was in the university and I said we will bring democracy to Nigeria, the people thought we were crazy. They used to call us delinquent juveniles. You know that. When I went to the US and I said to myself, I want to set up a website that would disrupt the media space, I did it. You mentioned it here. It started with a laptop. It became a global brand. There's no question about it. When people have vision, they carry it out. How long does it take for somebody to create all these levels that you have when the technology is coming from people who are competent? They know where to get them. They know where to train them. They know how fast to train them. Even on that basis, we're going to have to need you. We are going to need that.
We have another call. We have another call. Caller, your name, please, and where you are calling from. From your name and where you are calling from. Hello?
Hello?
Your name and where you are calling from. You called earlier, is not a name. We need...
I called earlier. My name is Dr. Chidi. I must tell you, one of the worst interviews I've seen. You called a guest and you don't let him talk. And you are attacking him, you're opposing his ideas. For God's sake, he is here to present his ideas. That's why he is here.
Dr. Chidi. Dr. Chidi. Dr. Chidi, Dr. Chidi, Dr. Chidi, Dr. Chidi, do you live in the US? If you live in the US, I'm so disappointed that if you live in the US, you want me to be interviewing people the way they interview people in Nigeria, and it's just to be talking down like he's preaching at people. You don't want to test the integrity of the facts they are giving. If that is the way you practice journalism, you need to go back to school. Because in most respectable liberal democracies, when people are making points that are seemingly inconsistent with reality, you test it by asking them questions. Has he not done himself some good by answering some of the things that are perceived to be lacunae? If you are a worshipper like some of you, one of the problems of the generation 40 and below in Nigeria now is that you went to school but you don't have critical minds. That is why you will say you are following a movement and everybody becomes an idol or a geo of a sort to you. You learn what you are practicing is not journalism. Journalism, go and watch Art Talk. Go and watch other platforms. They test the integrity of the remarks of people. Thank you very much.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should get upset.
No. If he needs to be lectured, he should be lectured.
Well,
because he's calling from the United States of America, and I'm shocked that somebody calling from the United States of America, because he's your open supporter, should not know that the best...
I actually don't think that's the reason why he should get upset. People are asking questions. We're all here engaging and interacting. You understand? I know some of your views, and you have even said it publicly before. For instance, when I was in detention, I watched you one morning in the DSS cell on STV, where you said Sowore is a joke. But
for me,
yeah,
I won't hide that.
But do I hold it against? After I came out, I think it was.
And I said earlier on this program that it will better on a miracle for you to make this cycle.
There might be inherent biases, but what we're here to do is to have an interaction and engagement that brings solutions to our country's problems. And I'm saying to you that there is no big deal, except when you have incompetent people to generate electricity. That there's no big deal to create the classes of workers, the labor force you're talking about, that would be ancillary to creating the miracle you talk about, because it has happened in countries that are not even as wealthy and as fast learners as Nigeria. Nigerians are people who learn very, very fast, right? Like you said, I met someone in the UK who was a tunnel engineer, and we are here also to inspire that hope and the belief and trust in leadership that can bring those people you met in Dubai who have those skills to come back home. There was a time that the guy who was, I think it's Dr. Akinwale, Professor Akinwale, he's at MIT in Boston. He was one of the people who invented plasma TV. He was given a job by the Buhari regime to come in this after he won the last election. Twice the guy declined it because he said, how do I work with these characters that I read about?
So we have a country that sometimes makes anybody, just however optimistic you want to be, that puts you in a state of disillusionment.
Yes.
But you know what? At this juncture, I really have to say this emphatically. I have lived too long a life as a Nigerian.
Yes.
To stop deluding myself, and that is why I would rather start something from the micro level and grow it organically to where to. But you see, like you rightly said, you have always believed from the.
I'm a person of big ideas.
Oh, no problem. Yes. No problem about that.
And that's why I'm here to tell you, because I see. You see what I see in your responses and your outbursts is that you have become very cynical about even development. And so many people are in that position. You understand? Imagine me going to detention for 4.5 months for doing nothing. I was just asking for a better stay. My brother getting killed. I getting shot on the streets of Abuja. So several of the things that have happened to me restricted to Abuja.
Sorry about my brother.
Yes, and I come out. I still didn't give up. It is, I'm doing what I believe will change the country. I'm inspiring a whole generation of young people who may not even have the courage that I think I have, to make sure that even if our lives, your life and my life, were wasted, that their generation is now wasted.
Fantastic.
That's why I'm here.
You know, one interesting part of all this for me,
yes,
is that somebody like you should also be finding time to let those youngsters that you are selling hope to know that hope does not come cheap, and they have to pay prices for it.
But my life is an example of that. They can read my life from they can see in my life that I'm an emblem of what I preach to them, that sacrifice, courage, that can inspire a whole generation to liberate themselves. That's what I'm about. For those people who didn't do it or who don't want to do it, like yourself, you like to play safe.
Activism,
but I don't play safe.
Activism is interesting and fine.
Yes.
But you know what? At the end of the day, somebody has to clean the gutter, somebody has to manage the traffic, somebody has to repair the automobile that brought you here, the furniture you are sitting on, somebody has to design and translate the drawing to reality. The best of societies are built on basic artisanal skills like that. So when I see somebody ideating, I am not against ideationing. In fact, even at my level, people sometimes think this man is crazy. Which direction is it going again? You just started one, you barely pushed it to reality, you want to go higher again. But you know what? We have to let that average Nigerian know that a Sowore is a good dream builder, but he or she has to go and learn the dirty skills that culture has made him or her to believe is condescending, or that he or she...
And where did you get the impression that I didn't learn that? I was a security guard when I arrived in the US.
It would be nice if you let people, let people know that too.
Oh, tell them. I tell
it's
the
part of the reality of your life.
I was throwing newspapers when I arrived in the US.
Okay.
I worked in a nursing home before in the US. There's virtually nothing.
Fantastic. We need to be accentuating that too.
I used to
because
work,
life is not always
I
okay
used to work as an artisan, putting what's it called on the wall. So there's nothing I haven't done practically. But let me tell you, activists also clean up society, and that's bigger than sometimes just building one block.
We know.
Because it took one man and 27 years in detention to clean up apartheid, which was the dirtiest human practice on earth as at that time. Nelson Mandela.
But the nation is regressing now. You know why? You know why the nation is regressing now? Apart from corruption, South Africa is not regressing.
No, is it regressing like your own country that doesn't have apartheid?
Because they have a white population.
No.
The irony of the black race is that we sold a lie to ourselves that you can name and claim.
So
you know what?
It's white race that is running Ghana. Right.
And Ghana is the best of
it's
the best of societies.
But it's better than your Nigeria now. Yes,
Ghana is not up to the population of the old Muslim.
No, it's not a population issue.
It's a population issue.
You can have 5 people and mismanage them, and you can have a billion people like India and give them prosperity, peace, and progress.
Is engaging, interesting.
So, but when you have incompetent people, they can't manage anything.
Nobody is excusing incompetence.
Exactly.
And it's because they are incompetent that some of us had to change from social sciences to indeed having to mentor people in the practical areas of life.
So you are mentoring people in numbers, right? You have an institute. We are mentoring people that we can't even reach. Even the conversation we have here today is mentoring people.
Oh yes,
exactly.
Oh yes.
So, and that's why we say diversity of opinion is necessary on this platform. And you must not allow your own very small circle of how you want to resolve problems to restrict your attitude. A person of big ideas. I'm not afraid to say.
Nobody's against big ideas.
That's why I can challenge. That's why I can challenge anybody who is running this country and say,
we need that. Yeah. We really need it.
Yes.
But you know what?
Go ahead.
As important as that is, nano performances are aggregated and translated to what they call GDP, gross. So is at the level of my productivity, your productivity, and the people listening to us, their productivity, that we aggregate to say a society is prospering. And I think it's about time too that when people like you are selling the big ideas to the people listening, you will let them know that it's going to be tough and rough before we get to that 24 megawatts.
Yes, but we are also going to tell them that those people who have been putting our productivity and their productivity in the basket, that their time is up.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Time up.
All right.
On that, Yele, always a pleasure.
Thank you very much for
fantastic.
Having me. Yes.
Fantastic, having you on.
Thank you very much.
Power. Just a minute. This is where we're wrapping for today. The program has been produced by Paul Alex Umoso. Sorry, I must do that. It's a duty because you've added value, and whoever adds value must be celebrated. Paul Alex Umoso, thank you for listening.